All right, let's be real. For so many of us parents, Snapchat just feels like this total black box, right? You know your kid is on it, but what are we actually doing in there? It can honestly cause a lot of anxiety. But here's the good news. It really doesn't have to be that way. Think of this explainer as your key. We're going to unlock the app and give you a super clear, actionable playbook for safety.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First up, we're going to tackle some immediate practical steps you can literally take in the next 5 minutes to make the app way safer. Then we'll get into the why, like why your kid loves it so much. After that, we'll cover the real risks, and trust me, they might not be what you think. And finally, we'll put it all together into a long-term plan that's all about communication and building trust.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're starting with the quick wins. Think of this as essential first aid for their digital life. The stuff you can do right now to immediately build a stronger fence around their account.
So here they are, the big five. This is basically your digital safety checklist. And the best part? Each one of these settings gives you a massive safety impact for minimal effort. We're talking maximum protection for just a few minutes of your time. Let's walk through the most important ones.
All right, listen up. If you only change one setting today, please make it this one. Setting Contact Me to My Friends is basically like putting a digital deadbolt on the front door. It just flat out stops messages from strangers, from bots, from any random account trying to get in touch. This one change cuts down the biggest risks immediately. Okay, the next one is a total non-negotiable. I'm talking about Snap Map. This feature shares your child's location pretty much in real time. And for a middle schooler, well, the risks there are pretty obvious, right? So you're going to go into the settings and you're going to turn on ghost mode. Just poof. This takes them completely off the map. Their location is now totally private. All right, so with those technical walls up, you're already in a much, much safer place. Great job. But now we need to shift gears a little bit from the how to the why. Because, to really protect our kids, we have to actually get why they love this app so much to begin with. And this is the question that honestly can change everything about how we see this as parents. It's so easy for us to just look at the app and see a bunch of risks. But for them, it serves a very real, very important social purpose. This really reframes the whole conversation, doesn't it? Snapchat isn't like TikTok, which is all about performance, or Instagram, which is like a polished photo album. For our kids, especially middle schoolers, this is the modern-day version of passing notes in class or just hanging out at the mall. It's their main group chat. It's where the real, unfiltered day-to-day talk with their friends actually happens. Okay, so now that we get the why, let's talk about the real risks. Because for this age group, the things that cause problems day to day are often way closer to home than the big, scary, stranger danger headlines we're all wired to fear. And boom, this slide just lays out the disconnect perfectly. We worry so much about strangers. And yeah, those external threats are real. That's why we lock down the settings. But the number one source of stress, of anxiety, of actual conflict for a middle schooler on Snapchat, it comes from people they already know. It's happening inside their own friend groups. I mean, just look at this breakdown. Almost half of the problems come directly from group chat drama. We're talking about kids being left out, misunderstandings, even bullying. But look at the other pieces of the pie too. You've got FOMO, that's the fear of missing out, which gets totally cranked up when they see friends hanging out on the Snap Map without them. And then there's the anxiety over keeping up with streaks. All of this stuff causes real stress. So all of this brings us right to the heart of the matter. Locking down the settings, that's defense. It's super important. But the best offense, that's a safety plan that you build together, one that's based on open communication and trust, not just a list of do this, don't do that rules. This right here, this is one of the most powerful tools you can give your kid. Seriously, it's like giving them an escape hatch. It lets them get out of a group chat that's getting mean or just uncomfortable without having to look uncool to their friends. They can just say, ugh, my mom is making me leave. You get to be the bad guy and they get a way out. It's such a simple offer, but it builds a massive amount of trust. The middle school brain is, well, it's impulsive. That's just how it's wired. So this 3-second pause rule is a super concrete, easy to remember trick that helps them short circuit that impulse. The idea is, before they fire off an angry text or sarcastic comment, they just pause for 3 seconds. It's just enough time to let their rational brain catch up and ask, hey, is this a good idea?
And this brings us to a really crucial point. The difference between monitoring and spying, they are not the same thing. Secretly logging into their account or demanding passwords, that's spying, and it totally backfires. It breaks their trust and just makes them better at hiding things, like with secret accounts. The better way? Do things transparently. Review their friends list with them. Set up simple rules like keeping phones in the kitchen at night. It's about partnership, not policing. But how do you even start these conversations, right? Well, these questions are designed to open doors, not slam them shut. If you start by asking what they actually like about Snapchat, it shows you're curious, not just, panicked. It turns what could feel like an interrogation into a real conversation, and that makes it so much more likely they'll actually come to you when something's wrong.
So all of this, it's all building towards one big goal: resilience. Look, the goal isn't to create some bubble where our kids never use these apps. That's just not realistic. The goal is to raise kids who can navigate this world safely and responsibly on their own. So what does that actually look like? What's a healthy relationship with Snapchat for a middle schooler?
And this slide just lays it out so clearly, side by side. On the left, you've got the red flags, the warning signs that your kid might be struggling. But on the right, you see the signs of healthy use, the signs of a kid who is managing the app and its pressures. Obviously, our goal is to see more of the stuff on the right side, where the app is just a tool for fun and connection, not this source of constant stress and secrecy.
And really, this is the main takeaway of this whole playbook. Just banning the app might feel like an easy fix, but it's a short-term solution that usually just backfires. The real long-term goal is to give your kid the tools, the resilience, and the open line of communication with you so they can handle the world they're already living in. So, okay, you've done the technical part. The digital fences are up. That's awesome. But now comes the most important step of all. Think back to those conversation starters we looked at. What's the first conversation you're going to have with your child to start building this playbook together?